Welcome to the Z-Vlog part 2. What's going on, people? So it's been almost a month since I made the first Z-Vlog, which isn't a good thing considering the aim was consistency and trying to make these videos every 2 or 3 days or every day if possible. But it's been almost a month instead now. I'd like to pin the blame on it being Ramadan. So it was Ramadan and it's a time of fasting, it's a time for being spiritual and being more religious, but that would be a lie, because it wasn't because of Ramadan that I wasn't making these videos. It was something else, which is the topic of this little talk, and that's habits, and in particular negative habits, and habits which lead to procrastination and laziness and just making you get stuck in a rut. And that's what happened with me, because prior to Ramadan, I think I mentioned it in the previous Z-Vlog, where things were happening in Pakistan and it was like a drama TV series where every day some new crazy stuff was happening, and that continued throughout Ramadan. And what happened was, with me personally, I was just glued to Twitter, like constantly updating the feed, constantly trying to get updates, constantly trying to see what's happening, and you get sucked in. Like when you do that consistently, you get sucked in, it becomes a habit. And even though you're aware of the negative aspects of social media, even though you're aware of all the bad things, and you're aware of how these things can emotionally impact you and trigger you, you still fall prey to it. And that's what happened with me. So I'm constantly updating my feed, I'm following all of these updates from all of these people, and they're all fighting and they're all arguing, and they say some crazy stuff, and then you get sucked in. So like, I just lost all my productivity, I became very lazy, and I was just glued. And I say glued, but the correct word is addicted. I was addicted to Twitter and constantly consuming content. And then when it went away from Twitter, I'd be consuming content on YouTube, even on the other social media platforms, and even playing games on my phone, which I haven't done in a very, very long time. So it just became this negative spiral of constantly being on my phone and being unproductive. And any time that I tried to become productive, it just became so difficult, to the point where I just couldn't do it. I used to sit down on my desk, try to do some work, but I couldn't do it because there was a lot of brain fog. The head felt heavy, and obviously it was Ramadan as well, so there's naturally energy was down naturally anyway. But again, that's not an excuse, because other people find a lot of energy during Ramadan when they're fasting. But because I was on this negative spiral, this negative routine, it was very difficult to be productive and get the things that I wanted to do done. Obviously Ramadan's finished now. It was Eid a couple of days ago, so Eid Mubarak to those of you that are celebrating or were celebrating. And so I've decided that I have to make a change. Well, I have to make a change. You can't carry on the same way that I was in the last month or so. And this is what you've got to do as well. Obviously, if you're in a similar situation where you've got yourself into this negative routine, this negative spiral, there comes a point where enough is enough, and you've got to start to make the changes. So what's the first change that I made today? Well, I've started to wake up early again. Obviously Ramadan, the routine's all over the place. We're not eating during the day, going to bed quite late, and then waking up in the middle of the night, and then waking up again a bit later on than normal. So the routine was all over the place. Well, that's not an excuse anymore. I'm back on my normal routine. So waking up early, and then getting to the gym early in the day. So it's been my first session back in the gym for almost 5 to 6 weeks, and I'm feeling good now. But at the time in the gym, I wasn't feeling too good, to be honest. Like all the crap and all the junk that I've been eating over the past couple of days, it was just all there, and it wasn't a good feeling in the gym. But now obviously I'm back home and I'm feeling a lot better. And the other change that I made was I have not looked at my phone at all today, and that has been massive in terms of clarity, headspace. Like consuming content consistently, it just makes your head feel heavy. It just feels like there's just a load of junk and clunk in your head, and that's part of the reason why you get brain fog and you can't function and you can't think properly. So as powerful as social media is, like, you can use it to make obviously things happen, it is just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, if you don't keep an eye on things, if you don't keep a check on yourself. And obviously it's difficult, because if you're trying to build a business on social media, which is what I'm trying to do, it's hard not to get caught up in the consumption side of things, because the way the algorithms work these days, you have to engage. You can't just post content. You have to engage, and that's where it becomes a lot tricky, because I've sat down and specifically with the intention of engaging, but then as you scroll the feeds, it's just so much junk out there. Like, forget the fear mongering and all of that, all the negative news. That's one aspect of it, but the other aspect where people are trying to give value, but it's not really value. It's just BS and horse crap and same crap repeated over and over again, and you can't really engage because it's just rubbish, and you don't feel like engaging. You just feel rubbish yourself for engaging. So it's and that's what makes it difficult, because then you're trying to engage, but instead of engaging, you're just going through this feed of crap after crap, and that's just having a negative impact. It's just feeding your mind with junk, and then it becomes difficult to come out of that spiral. But what can you do? You can't complain. At the end of the day, it's it's a massive opportunity to be able to use this technology. So it's ultimately in your control, and this is what I'm saying to myself. It's in my control how I use social media, and I can't blame other people. The responsibility and the blame solely lies with me. It's for me to use social media in a way that helps, and it's for me to stay away from social media in a way that it doesn't help. And it comes back to this concept of using social media to produce rather than consume. The more you produce, the better your results are going to be. The more you consume, the worse it's going to get. And that does not apply just to social media. It applies to eating, obviously. The Ramadan one I'm fasting on, if you overconsume, you ain't going to feel too good. And it's the same with entertainment, with movies, with anything really. If you overconsume, you're not going to feel too good. So yeah, obviously Ramadan's finished now, back on my routine. I'm going to be focusing on my businesses a lot more. So I've got 2 businesses going at the minute. One is helping people build confidence, self-esteem and communication skills by starting a podcast. So I'm running the first cohort. I've got a group of people together. We're still going through that program. I think we're on about week 6 or 7 now. So later on this month, a few of those are going to be ready to launch their own podcasts. And to be honest, I'm quite enjoying. It's a mix. Like, I'm enjoying the most part. What I'm not enjoying is the organization of it. Obviously, trying to get people together on group calls. Simply because obviously there's people from all around the world. There's about 4 or 5 different time zones, and trying to get everyone together is becoming quite difficult. And obviously with the brain fog and the laziness that I was going through, it was quite difficult. But I'm connecting with these guys. I'm excited about what they're going to produce, and I'm certain they're going to produce some great podcasts in the coming weeks. And the other business, obviously my business partner David, who is somebody that I interviewed as my 2nd or 3rd guest on my podcast, and we became business partners after that, which is a topic for another day. But he had some health issues, which thankfully have now recovered. So we started a business called Ethical Empires, where we're helping people buy businesses to build wealth and have an impact on not just themselves but other people's lives. We've got a separate YouTube channel about that, so check that out if you are interested in the prospect of buying businesses. But we're going to be starting a new business based on that, where we're going to be helping small investors. Obviously, if you want to buy a multi-million pound business, it's easy if you've got 100, 200 grand to invest, but a lot of people don't have that kind of money. But a lot of people do have 10, 20 grand lying about, which is a more manageable risk to take as well. So what we're planning on doing is getting a group of people together where they've got 10, 15, 20 grand that they can invest, putting the group together, and then we're going to be helping that group buy businesses, and then we'll run the businesses for them, where then they'll get dividends, and hopefully in a few years time those businesses will grow, there'll be an exit, and everybody will profit from it. I'll be sharing more details about that as I go along, which is again not the purpose of this little episode. The purpose of this little episode is to basically encourage you to make the changes and start developing positive habits. It's not about having a massive achievement or a massive result. That's not how life works. It's about habits, and no matter what you do, you are preparing yourself and you are developing a habit if you do something or if you don't. So for example, if I go to the gym every day, that's now a habit and it's a positive habit. However, if I'm lazy and procrastinating every day, that is still something that's going to develop into a habit. So, people think that you have to do things to form a habit. It's not the case. By not doing things, you're also developing a habit which can lead you into a negative spiral. So take each day as it comes. Start with one thing, start with two things, and just try to do these things consistently. Obviously, going to the gym again is one of those things. These videos, trying to make these consistently is another habit that I need to develop and focus on. And obviously the habit of building those businesses and using time productively to build those businesses that I mentioned. That's all for today. Hopefully this time I will be consistent with the podcasts and these Z-Vlogs. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care now. Bye bye.